I've been trying to find my place in the film photography space for about 2 years now. I think I've tried almost every type of camera in the 35mm and 120mm film space, from Mamiya 645 on the medium format end to a whole bunch of point and shoots to regular full frame traditional 35mm cameras, and I haven't really found a home yet that I really feel comfortable with. Either the camera I have bought wasn't exactly up to par, or the camera itself, based on specs and things like that, wasn't really resonating with me as a photographer. It was either too quick or either too slow in terms of my process and my workflow. But I think I may have found a camera that solves all those problems. And it all started from a recent eBay search, as a matter of fact. I was bidding on a Canon EOS-3, which is also kind of like a mid-level film camera from a few decades ago, and I really thought that was the camera for me. I did a bunch of research, I looked at a whole bunch of reviews online, and I said, okay, the EOS-3 is where I think I should land as a photographer. So I did not end up getting that camera, but on eBay, in like the similar items section, came this camera, which was the Canon EOS-1N. Let's unbox it first, and then I'll tell you what it's all about. I got this guy straight from Japan, and honestly, okay, the camera obviously is priority number one, but there's one accessory that I was so stoked on, besides the camera, to get, because they just don't do them like this anymore. I'm really excited to show you. Oh, it's actually right here, the strap. The strap on this camera is a vintage Canon EOS strap, but it's in like this perfect forest green color, and if you know me, that is my favorite color. I'm so stoked to use this strap. I never use branded camera straps until now. Okay, what else do we have here? We have a cap. Looks like a cap and a back cap for the camera. Here, I'm guessing, is the camera itself, wrapped up in a ton of bubble wrap. Like I said, I got this one from a eBay store in Japan. I'll link the actual store on the eBay store down below. They have an amazing camera selection, and this one looked like it was in amazingly perfect condition for the fact that it's like between 25 and 30 years old, which is pretty crazy to say. Okay, here it is. This is the Canon EOS-1N. Okay, now right off the bat, I have a really strong opinion on something, and that is size and form factor of cameras. In today's day and age, every manufacturer is going smaller with their mirrorless and even better point and shoot options to make them more ergonomic, travel friendly, easier to carry, easier to lug around on a long day shooting. And I totally understand that argument for the average photographer, but for whatever reason, I'm definitely in the minority on this one. For whatever reason, I love a larger, more traditional sized camera body. Honestly, if it was up to me, I would shoot with the 1DX Mark III my entire life, because I love how large and chunky and ergonomically friendly it is for my hands. Okay, a little bit about this camera. The Canon EOS-1N was the second last pro-level film camera that Canon produced. The last one is the Canon EOS-1V, and the V is actually quite a bit more expensive than this one. I could not personally find a V either on eBay or Marketplace for less than like $1,000 CAD, or around $700 to $800 USD, whereas this one with a nifty 1.8 lens was $220 US. And that's pretty much the going rate, around $200 to $300. $220 US to me was a no-brainer, considering most of the features, not all, but most of the features are very similar to that of the EOS-1V. This camera was produced between 1994 and 2001, and the 1V after that, and really the 1V was actually only discontinued in 2018 by Canon, which is pretty crazy to think about, but it is the last of the film range from Canon. And these, like I already mentioned, are the pro-level cameras, the pro-level offerings from Canon. This one specifically that I'm holding has a couple different things about it that the person that owned it definitely modded out or changed for their own liking, which I actually don't really care one way or the other. It was a good price. Number one, it has this thing called the Canon Command back. The regular back on the EOS-1N looks like this. It has its own dial. It's a bit different and has its own use cases where you can change aperture with that dial natively. On this one, you need to hold two buttons down and turn the main dial to doesn't really matter, but this one has a different backing that shows different information. And obviously it's used for different things like interval, timer, self-timer, bulb, frames, a whole bunch of different settings you can do on this back as opposed to the other regular backing. And I believe, I'm not too sure, but I believe this bottom portion, this like battery grip area down here, is also not stock to the camera. Again, I prefer it. I like the larger battery grip, the larger girth that this camera has, as opposed to a smaller camera that would not have this extra height, and then my pinky is falling off the edge like this. This does not have that problem. I obviously haven't shot anything with it. I bought a roll of Portra 400 yesterday to rip in this guy and test it out while I'm here in California. I'm so stoked to try this out because I have full faith that this is going to be the camera for me. But the one most important thing about this camera is the shutter noise. Okay, I'm gonna turn it on and make sure it turns on here. Perfect. Okay, are you ready for this? I'm gonna put it close to the mic so you can hear it. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, that sounds like what every camera sound effect in a movie sounds like ever. Like, that is so... Okay, well, one more time. That's pretty crazy. Thank you guys so much for watching this unboxing. I look forward to shooting with this and sharing with you all my shoots and all my photos I get with this camera. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up down below, comment what you want to see more of, and do not forget to subscribe. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.